So today I'm at a car dealership just doing regular maintenance on my vehicle, and a car dealership is very similar to wholesale real estate. The business model is extremely similar, and the way people buy vehicles is similar to how we invest in real estate, how we buy houses. And I think changes happening here at car dealerships, the way people buy, the way people sell, are similar changes to what's happening in wholesale real estate, with regulations, with just it being a little bit trickier to wholesale homes. And so in today's video, I'm just going to compare and contrast a dealership to wholesale real estate, just the different business models, and give you all tips on how to navigate wholesale real estate this year. Because yes, it's getting a little bit tougher, more competition, there's more regulations, there's more competition with big companies essentially doing wholesale real estate. So please be sure to like this video, subscribe if you have any questions. All right, you all, so I'm actually away from the dealerships because it's right near the highway, so it's a little bit loud. Even though I have the mic, I want to go to a quiet place, so I'm here at a park. And the first thing I want to talk on is how dealerships are similar to wholesale real estate. So in the same way wholesalers are in between the end buyer and the seller, dealerships are in between the end buyer and the manufacturers. So for example, if you go to a Toyota or Lexus dealership, you don't necessarily go directly to Lexus to buy their vehicles, right? You have to go through their network of dealerships. So they're middlemen, right? Just like wholesalers, we're middlemen, right? In between one party and the other party to make the transaction happen. And so similar to wholesaling real estate, you know, where we get the property from the seller and we sell it, the contract, to the end buyer so they can ultimately purchase the property. So there's a lot of similarities there. I heard from Max Maxwell, actually, when I was first learning about wholesaling. He said that middlemen are probably one of the most paid professions in the world, right? If you look at all these major corporations, a lot of them are just in between other people, right? The business model. And so like Airbnb doesn't own any houses, right? They don't own any homes. Most of their homes that are listed on their website is owned by other people. But what they do, they're the middlemen, right? They're connecting one end buyer to the other end buyer, or like the seller to the buyer, right? To make the transaction happen. And so that's essentially what wholesaling is, right? And the reason why I'm explaining this is so you can understand the purpose of the profession of wholesale real estate, so you can get better deals and understand what exactly your value is in a particular transaction. So going back to car dealerships are changing. Wholesaling is changing. So one thing that's changing is that middlemen are becoming less and less prevalent. So for example, Tesla, you don't have to go to a separate dealership to buy a Tesla vehicle. You go to a Tesla company store, right? Essentially, to buy your vehicle, right? So Toyota, I don't go directly to Toyota to buy their vehicles. I go to their network of dealerships, like I was speaking on earlier, right? And I think more and more car manufacturers are going to move to that model where they don't have a dealership in between the manufacturer, right? Tesla, you go directly to the manufacturer to buy their vehicles, right? Now, some drawbacks to that is that with dealerships, you can have some wiggle room. Like, hey, okay, I'll buy at full MSRP, but please do this for me, throw in this, do that for me. Or you can even negotiate price on the vehicle because they're working through a dealership. Tesla, they're not gonna negotiate, right? The price you see on their site is the price you're going to pay. And so in the same way, wholesaling is changing more and more to that model where buyers are becoming more and more familiar with wholesalers. They understand what's happening. They're like, oh, you're that person that has that sign, that abandoned sign. Oh, you're the people that call me all the time. We buy houses for cash. So they understand okay, this person is actually not buying my house, right? They're the middleman in between my home, right? Me, the seller, and the end buyer. And so they're becoming more and more hesitant on working with wholesalers because they're all like, why should I go to a wholesaler when I can go directly to an end buyer? I can go list it on the MLS, get a higher price. Why should I sell it to this middleman, right? They're going to eat more into my profit, and they're going to ultimately sell it to the end buyer, right? So that's one way wholesaling is similar. Another way wholesaling is similar to car dealerships, where they're changing, where more and more of the end buyers or the end consumer of that product is going directly to the source, right? And so as wholesalers, what can we do about this? How can we learn from it? One thing that you can do is just be upfront and real with the seller, right? I always talk about this on my channel with Wholesale Real Estate. You have to let them know, hey, I work with a group of investors, or I'm going to ultimately fund this deal using private money, or I have investors that I work with that I'm ultimately going to sell this deal to, right? So that's one thing. Just be as transparent as possible. Say, hey, ultimately I need to see if this is a good fit for my investors, because you don't want to lock yourself into a wholesale deal and not be able to sell it, and these people are expecting you to buy it, right? And so just being upfront with that is very important. The other thing is just changing the way you approach wholesaling. Now that sellers know more about wholesaling, they know more about the value of their home, right? There's so many information out there that they can get. Yes, you could talk about Zillow, Redfin, all these other MLS type sites about them being off on their values, but a lot of them are pretty close to their value, right? They're not like $50,000 off from the actual value of homes most of the time, right? Of course, you'll find them, a couple of them. And so sellers kind of know a rough estimate on their house and what they're looking for. And so you have to understand that they're more knowledgeable. They know how much their house is worth, and they know ultimately you're the middleman. So with all that information, you have to make adjustments. Maybe not offer that cash deal. You have to look into subject to seller financing. You have to look into notes, reverse mortgages, all these other pre-foreclosures, working with reverse mortgages, and all these other tactics, so that cash purchase is not your only end all be all for wholesale deals. Yes, I still preach that a lot of beginner wholesalers just start with a cash purchase wholesale deal, right, where there's enough equity and it can get them under contract, but those are becoming more and more difficult, right? Because you have these big corporation wholesaling companies that are spending way more than you'll ever make on marketing, right? And they have all these other type of exit strategies that they can present to that seller. And so that really makes them the more likely candidate to actually get that deal. Making those approaches or finding different strategies that can work with you is key in this business. And the other thing is just that, hey, continue doing the traditional way, whether that's cold calling, mailers, texting. It still works, right? Because people are still doing it. This is how people are still getting deals. I think another thing is just being networking as much as you can. Like, overall, I would say I'm an introvert, but my past 2 deals have been word of mouth, right? And it's because I've told people what I do, right? I ask questions. I say, hey, do you have another house? I meet more contractors and just go to their job site and just network with them. And in turn, I meet who their realtors are, and their realtors have a deal and things of that nature. So make sure you network as much as possible. The other thing is that I think continue on going that traditional route, pulling lists, going on different websites. Use PropStream. If you all are interested in PropStream, use my link down below. You get a 7 free day trial using PropStream. I have a ton of videos on how to use it. but I think PropStream is a great resource for beginner wholesalers and all levels of wholesaling to use in their business. All right, you all, hope you all enjoyed this video. Hopefully it wasn't too shaky or anything with me walking and talking. I know the light kind of was in and out sometimes because I'm under some trees. So make sure you all like this video, subscribe, and comment down below. Thank you.